Serena, thank you so much for coming on to the eJenn Solutions podcast. I am so grateful for your time and to be here. I have a lot of questions for you. I know I sent you some, but ooh, this is going to be a great conversation. So to begin, you're with Notified, and I would love it if you could tell us a little bit about the company and a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely. So I work with Notified, and we are what we are is a communications platform. We have a really huge investor relations group and audience, and then also a public relations communications platform. So we own Globe Newswire. So what we are is pretty much the biggest communications partner between organizations, major corporations, startups, and the audiences they're trying to reach, whether it is a journalist or it's an investor. If they want to do that, we've got the process and the tools to make it happen.
Great. And tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well,
How long have you been with Notified?
I've been here almost 2 years, but I've been in this industry. My first job out of college back in the day was the ad agency for Dow Jones. So I've been in the newswire industry for almost 30 years in one way or the other. And this is hands down my favorite place to work. The biggest, hugest differential between Notified and Globe Newswire and the other places I've worked is innovative technology. And that it seems like a little internal thing, but it's actually a huge game changer because we can impact tech in real time, where a lot of news organizations from Dow Jones on down, they've inherited old tech and they can't change their systems because these technologies power the world, right? So if you make one change at Dow Jones, you're impacting an entire ecosystem. In our case, our software is separate from the ecosystem. So it's a completely different game changer.
And that's kind of why I wanted to talk to you today because AI obviously is huge right now. And I recently did a press release, and that's how I've been in contact with your company. So my biggest question, especially for me when I was doing a press release back in the day, and it kind of goes to what you just said, they just weren't working in the way that we needed them to work, and for all the various reasons. Well, now with AI, it's a little bit of a game changer. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, keep going. I have a lot to say
I
on
know,
this
because
topic.
you know what my
I
question is going
have
to
a lot to
be.
say.
So, with that, since everything is new and everything is changing at breakneck speed, do you think press releases now are more for Google search, or do you feel that they're more for journalists? I mean, is it Google search and AI, or is it more for journalists?
It's a great question. So I would say that because you said something earlier too, this whole concept that press releases don't work, news wires don't work. One,
Well,
it,
previously.
yeah, previously, and I'll tell you, there's a storyline that has kind of we didn't start it, by the way. We in the wire industry are always trying to end it, but there's this theory that, what does a newswire press release do? What can it do? What should it be doing? What should you expect, right? And in reality, we're seeing the wire service and Notified in general, because we're a wire service plus we have a media database built into our system, is that we're actually seeing press releases now really be for buyers. And what I mean for that is, if your company is selling a product, where your buyers are going to research that is they're going into AI and they're going into search. AI being these answer engines, right? People answer a question and your Google search result will be Gemini is going to summarize your result, right? They're not even going to drive people to your website anymore. They're just going to say it there. Press releases impact that answer. Your press release, the way AI, Gemini, ChatGPT, Perplexity uses their data, it's based on a format that Globe Newswire uses. It's our news distribution format. So what that means is when you issue a press release, it's going to appear at the top of these answer engines. It's going to directly impact that result that searcher is getting. So, for example, if your competitor issues 40 press releases on one topic and you issue one, they're going to appear higher in these AI systems than you are. You have to be able to own that. And that's what a wire service will do. But the second thing that it's doing is it's activating, if you use it, for example, with a media contact database, is we're also activating those industry reporters, because buyers trust really two people. They trust search results. We're going to pretend Google's a person, and they trust the journalists who write about their industry. So what we want to do is a wire service today, what you should be getting out of it is you should be getting both. You should be able to impact the journalists that are covering your space. But to the question we're talking about today, which is AI, is it absolutely is a way to own your narrative in AI. In fact, I would say that people who aren't using press releases, there's a lot of people who issue releases every day, right? If
Mhm.
they're not thinking about that impact on AI with their release, they're really missing an opportunity.
I agree. And you guys also, you have a nice little packet that you provide for how to specifically write for AI, correct?
Yes, that's one of the things that we've been very big about, is making sure that our customers know that there are these release tools, for example, that we offer. They're exclusive to Globe Newswire. They were elements built into the press release for reporters that turned out to be absolute impacts for AI visibility. So what we have to do is we have to really walk clients to how to maximize their release for AI. It comes with, for example, a headline. When a headline, a lot of headlines that are written are about the company. Company X releases product Y. If a company can change that headline to say product company X issues product Y that impacts Z, resulting in A, if the headline says that, they're much more likely to appear in search results,
Right, because
right?
they're answering a question.
That's it. That's it. And so the last thing I'll say on this is SEO is something that companies own. Newswires don't really do much with SEO, but SEO is a very, very complicated, expensive, and long time taking project, right? It takes a while.
Hmm.
AI, you can do this in one press release.
See, now everyone should love hearing that because yes, SEO, I mean, when we work with people, 6 months minimum. Um, but that's intriguing. So walk me a little bit through the process, if you can. You kind of touched on it a little bit, a little bit. Just walk me through the process of when a press release is submitted to Notify, how that works and how it spreads out.
Yeah, and it's a great question. So, and I like to think of it as a walled garden. So if you think about everything that a company owns and all the ways that they can promote a press release, from putting money behind it to their own email lists, right? They
Hmm.
can get a press release about this far. It's the wire service that's going to take it outside their walled garden. So
Right.
when they submit the press release to us, ideally the press release will have a headline that's robust. The press release format, and this is before it gets to us, right? The press release format will have bullets. It will be almost formatted a little bit like a blog. It will have header text. These are all points that AI systems read. So having your release formatted correctly is a really big part of kicking off that the process that's going to work after. The second thing or third thing we want is to make sure is you always include an image. Now here's a trick, huge trick. This is Jen, nobody knows this.
Oh,
If
see,
you
now I was going to say I thought I knew what you were going to say, but
yeah,
now I'm leaning
you
in.
might if you name that image before you give it to us. Yeah, you do know. When it
Go, keep
crosses the
going.
wire, the image is available in search engines on those terms.
Yeah.
And majority of humans do not start in normal Google news search. They don't start in Google search. They're starting in image search because people speak in visuals. They do not speak in words. So now with your press release that you've given to us, you've got this headline, you've got this bulleted and formatted text, you have your image that's named. Then we're going to prompt you for a release summary, which is another way to tell your story. We're going to prompt you to give us your release tags, which are the industry and terms. We take those pieces of data and we add that to the metadata of your press release. This is the differential of the wire services. When we most wire service will use your headline as your metadata, which means if it's beyond your headline, it doesn't get indexed that high. We take three pieces of content as your metadata. making sure that you can index in a much wider set of terms. So we take your press release that you've written, your release tags, we package it up as a news package. By the way, another thing to think of, people produce Word documents when they do press releases, but we send them out electronically, they're news packages. We take that, we send it out, and then what happens is we put it on globenewswire.com. And then AI robots, they tag our website all day long. It could be ChatGPT, Perplexity, and they're pinging it, ingesting it, and then they're tracking it. So we're able to track that on our analytics report. So when your release crosses the wire, the first thing you can do is go into your analytics report and you can actually see how many of these bots picked your news. And the bot count will vary based on the interest of your news. So one thing you can do next time is try to get a higher bot count. The second thing you do is you go in and you type your headline as a question. And almost always you're going to see your press release as it'll be part of the answer, and then it's going to be the suggested thing to look at. Globe Newswire delivered press releases have higher AI visibility than press releases or blog posts on a client's website. That's a really big deal because your website, by the way, also a huge AI point. Every person's website's got great AI opportunities. But if you want a piece of content to absolutely make sure you're getting indexed, using a wire service will do that. And that's really where you start to own your results because you can tell your story. Now what comes up, because basically that's what AI is doing, right? They're taking all these pieces that they're finding on Google and they're summarizing it into a story for you. And you have a choice of being a part of telling that story or not. And the last thing I'll say is, in this day of misinformation, not owning your story is a risk because bigger news will always bump out everybody and you have no idea when that will happen. So back to your question, I call it the buyer circuit because that's where people are. And it's a really easy process. You just upload the release, you fill in these extra forms, you send it out, and you start enjoying that result immediately. The last thing I'll say is your press release will have hyperlinks in it. So because AI will surface the info for you, people generally are clicking the links less, going into websites less. So you might see website traffic dropping, but what you're going to see is the traffic coming in is much more highly qualified. So it's a very interesting thing. It's like you're now getting to engage AI, have it tell your story for you. And if that story is compelling enough, someone's going to come in, but you should be able to convert them faster. So it's less garbage, if you will, faster education, but your education is no longer happening on your website. It's being driven by your press releases.
I would 100% agree with that. Just in the one that I've done, yeah, I have seen lead generation increase with my own business.
It's
So yes, well, thank you for explaining it because I could see it. I could see the analytics, but now
right.
that makes 100% sense.
I think that that's a very big piece that people are not taking credit for because what's happening is they're actually seeing less traffic and they think it's a problem. But instead, they don't have to. So, for example, your press release traffic, if you're selling a product,
Yep.
you might want them to go on a higher converting landing page, not an intro page. Like you might be able to treat that as a whole different channel. And then the last thing is to remember is that channel is long tail. So as you make business updates, you have to issue press releases to update that information because you don't want it to be stale.
Yeah. So explain that. So what would you say the evergreenness, is that a word? What
It's a
would you
great word.
say the time frame would be on those?
I would say that that it hasn't quite been determined. And
Yeah.
it depends on the topic, right? Because if we're going in and talking about laboo-boos as other people's laboo-boo news, because that's another thing. Other people's news have the same opportunity as you have. This is why it's so important to craft your headline the right way so it answers the right question. So instead of saying you want to own it all. If you only own part of
Well,
it, then somebody else will grab
everyone
it.
wants world domination.
Why
Yes.
not? Why not? And my favorite thing to do for world domination, my friends, is go to Google Trends and put in every one of your headline terms. My favorite story, and I'll give you a very quick example of this
Love
to
it.
show you, is Procter and Gamble. 100 years ago, I met with Procter and Gamble. We talked about how do you get more views on a press release, and they used the word children in their press releases, in their headlines. But when we used Google Trends, we saw that children has one set of results, and when we tried the word kids, it's 3 times the differential. So just by changing that one word in their press release headline, they impacted an enormous amount of search results. So it's taking the time to think about each word and making sure you have the right one. Like maybe it's not launches or announces, but maybe it's um, surprise. I mean, maybe it's something else. Like even the most common terms of your headline might not be the ones that people are searching. So using Google Trends to then build your press release headline makes sure, because you're both tapping into Google search trends, that's going to generate AI, and then you really own your story.
Yeah.
That is world domination. But don't use another wire because they don't have those free add-in tools, and then you're not going to get the same result.
Yes. So that's what makes you different then.
That really is. And for decades, people have said all wires are the same. And in reality, we're actually seeing with SEMrush, like actual proof points of, 30% more views, or in some cases, 200% more views than other partners. And it's because of the structure.
Right. So that brings me to my next question, the dashboard. Can you tell me a little bit about that and how can we, because when someone orders a press release from you, that I hear this from clients who, anyway, it's off into the nether worlds and no one knows anything, right? So analytics, I'm a big nerd with that. So tell me a little bit about what you guys offer and what we can see.
Yes. So we hold on one second. And so one of the things that's very interesting, and again, this comes from having agile tech, is that we have always tracked bots, all press release, every wire service since the beginning of the internet. There are things called bots, and bots are things like Google pinging your release and putting it at the top of search. Bots are not bad. Yes, they're bad actors, but that's not really in this space. What we do, and because we've always tracked bot traffic and we've always displayed it, is we automatically track in our reports under our crawler report. You just type in the word bot and it will pull up all of the AI bots and it will
So
tell
you
you
can
who's
see.
ingested your news.
Okay.
Now, on your side of the house from inbound, now, sorry, every press release you have will have inbound traffic links, right?
Okay.
You'll have those hyperlinks.
Right.
We'll continue to count those. If you use Google UTM links, if you have URL builders where you want to track that, when you upload your release to us, you have the option to turn off our link tracking. This is key because if you have it on, you will not be able to track through Google Trends or through Google Analytics.
Okay. And just to stop because we have
Sorry.
beginners
Yes,
that
sorry, I got
listen.
very technical on that.
Yes. UTM is where you can track a landing page or track any type of content you put out there. And Google, you'll be able to see it in your analytics. So you can see how far a landing page has gone, etc. So, okay,
Yes.
go back
And it's
to what you're
great for
saying.
tracking. What it does is it tells you who drove the link in, right? It's
Right.
that assignment of where it came from. And
Yeah.
I always loved it because I used to love tracking landing page results after a press release goes out. People say, "Oh, my release didn't work," and you say, "Well, how long were they on your landing page?" 1 second. Maybe we need a landing page revision, right? Like there's a lot you can do, but
And you see demographics, you see there's a lot
yes,
more that you
there's a
get
lot
when you
there.
track it versus just a link or where did it
And
come from. Yeah.
other wire services, their links will click and interrupt yours. That's why you have to turn off
Okay.
the wire service tracking link. Otherwise, your links get disturbed and you don't match the data. So
Okay.
if you turn it off, you'll get to match that data.
Okay.
And then again, you can see. So the benefit of the wire then becomes your press release is almost like your mobile landing page, if you will, right? You've written it so it'll show up in search. It's going to influence search. You've added images. So really your whole launch content is now in one press release. And then you've got that inbound traffic from anybody coming in from that. So it ends up being like, again, like a mobile landing page for you. That used to happen on your website, right? Now they've taken it away from you. They've put it in AI. AI has become your mobile landing page with a link to us, not your site. So distributing an entire collection of content gives you the opportunity to educate a wider audience with your press release than you previously did. Previously, you might have put some stuff in your release and other stuff on your landing page. Now you want to put it all into that release so it impacts search. I
That's
just
brilliant.
That just went way off our Google UTM conversation.
It did, but it makes sense. It makes sense. And so, getting back to the dashboard question, if taking that off, are we still able to see certain things?
Yes, you can obviously. So what a new, oh, here's another very important thing about newswire tracking reports, because this is going to blow everybody's mind. Tracking reports against all wire services, and I worked for someone else for 23 years, so this is an industry standard.
Mhm.
They only track about 20% of your complete engagement.
Oh,
So when you look at our tracking reports, the first thing you have to think of is this is a snapshot. This is just how this percentage of audiences reacted to it. And if you do it that way, you start to see, you get great data. But the tracking reports will tell you not only who accessed your release, where did they come from in this 20% set. It gives you the views from or not the views, but it tells you who's pinged you from ChatGPT. But then you can use those reports moving forward to make changes. So you can say, okay, this press release, my first release, I'm going to try this AI optimization out. I'm going to create this whole template. I'm going to send it out. And then you can track that. And then you can make that your baseline for your next one. So there's a lot of comparison reports in there. A trick is if you don't get a lot of views for your press release, change the time you send it out.
yeah.
That is often a way bigger impact than the news story itself, is getting off the 8 o'clock hour and the 8:15s and getting to those 9:07s and those 7:57s, getting out of the glut. So the reporting not only will tell you how many chatbots have accessed and impacted your news, as well as, a snapshot of your overall, like, did it trigger people? Did it not? Did it click the links? Did it not? You get all of that, but then you get to use it moving forward. That is the key, is like making that your baseline document, and then moving forward. I'm going to change the date. I'm going to change the time. I'm going to change my headline. I'm going to change my image. And suddenly you're able to test, and then you can really see what's working and what doesn't work. And the last thing I'll say, I swear, I know I'm jumping a lot of stuff in here, is we have done our own search work to see about using the wire service for non-news, like blogs. Excuse me for 1 second. And we have had great success.
So
Great success.
explain that one. Non-news meaning blogs.
So there's a lot of concern about what should go out over a wire. We actually offer distributions that are online and trades only. So you're not really interrupting news journalists.
Mhm.
Excuse me.
It's okay. Take a minute.
What that has done is it allows people to issue press releases that are really designed to impact the web, that are really designed to make bigger differences. We're not asking people to send out infomercials. We're not going to let an advertorial go out. We have rules.
Right.
But if a client is making a statement, if they're taking a stand on a situation and they're going to write a blog or a white paper, they should write a press release, right? And make that go further, make it last, because that blog isn't going to get the same visibility in AI.
Oh,
So getting these stuff
night
right,
and day. Yeah.
right? So
Right.
thinking about the wire service beyond the traditional press release, but as a online marketing tool, if you will, is also extremely required in this day and age to own AI.
Mhm.
Because if you're only waiting for significant events to issue a press release, that's only when you'll be seen.
So, and you have price points to help with that too. So, that's great. You have given us a ton of information. I'm going to put my old lady glasses on because I want to I had some questions that I want to make sure that I get because I know everyone listening is going to want to know. You already talked about that. AI SEO, is there such a thing? And yes, the title, the image, everything else that you
Oh, and I'm going to tell you one more thing. I
keywords.
promise you, if people aren't taking advantage of this now, it's going to be like when search engines first started. People are going to have to
Yes,
do a lot of catch up. And now is it's the Wild West right now. We're literally at the
it is.
stage one, right? So what I'm telling you today may not work tomorrow, but if you're not taking advantage of it today, I don't know if you should still have a job, right? Like imagine being offered this and then try to create reasons to say no.
Right. And not only that, I heard someone say, and I loved it, it's like 1997 all over again. I was like, it
Actually,
is.
we are finding, this is a little bit of inside baseball, but we find sometimes when we go talk to customers and customers are like, nothing's broke. It's like, oh man, you're locking yourself into a 3-year contract
Yeah.
on a non-AI specified platform. What could happen in 3 years? I mean, 1 year is fine, right? Like things aren't that fast, but imagine 3 years of limitation. And then what have you done? It's that serious. And I'm not saying you have to use, well, I am saying you have to use us, but I'm not saying you have to. You just have to know it's happening
Yeah,
because what will happen in 3 years is going to be a big deal.
it is. Can we just stop for a second? Can you move? It keeps your
This,
this piece keeps hitting.
sorry,
No,
there
it's
it
okay. I
is.
want them to
There
hear
it
you.
is.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah, sorry about that.
All right. No, no problem. So, yes, I do 100% believe that. And it's just like social media for those that were like, whatever, whatever. Now they're playing catch up, right? And I love what you said about owning your own story. It's one of the reasons why we talk about social media. It's another avenue, obviously. So definitely. And I think that's it. That well, I have a ton more, but we only have so much time. So I guess my last thing is there any quick wins that you want to share with businesses? I do have a stupid little question.
Yes.
Emojis, bad, good?
Oh, great question. Okay, so we both know that the human population is reverting back to imagery. In fact, verbal test scores are dropping around the world. It's becoming about images, but structure is not set up for images. So actually we have found, and I've done press releases with images, with icons, we've done all of it. It can catch attention, but it can cause problems. There's still a technical structure to the newswire, and additional non words icons can actually create issues. So keep the emojis, but probably not in your press release headline. You just, from a technical perspective, that additional colon dash thing can actually get you dropped out of a system. We know, for example, registration marks and trademarks can decrease views in technical systems. So yes for your emails, yes for your blogs, no for your press releases for the headline.
Does that include the body then as well?
No, the body, you can absolutely do that. The only thing I'll say with icons is today's day and age is watch out for this concept that if there's an icon in it, AI wrote it.
Yeah,
There
I know.
is this theory now. Like I did a green checkbox thing, and someone said, "Oh, well, that was," it was like, but that's our standard for
I
40
love
years,
the
right?
green checkbox
You
with a
know.
check mark. Use it all the time.
So
Yeah.
I
And the
that
M dash, that's the other one, the
the
M
double M
dash.
dash with no space, and then I just heard the ratio or how quote marks work. So if you're ever doing Chat GPT, don't forget to tell Chat GPT to redo your work in inter font point 12 point before it gives it to you so it can fix those. It won't fix the M dashes though.
You can ask it not to put those in.
Yes, yes.
I just put it in my instructions. I
Yes,
gave the
that's what I
secret
do too.
away.
You get such better punctuation that way. But I love emojis. I think emojis, and it goes back to imagery. Imagery is going to take a much higher movement. We're not seeing that right now because AI is still very text oriented, but be prepared for images to start moving into that. I think we've got a lot of
Yeah.
room there to grow. That's a great question.
Well, we're seeing it with in social media, we're seeing it with video. I mean, you might as Video is where it is, images are where it is. If you're doing type text, it's lost at this point.
If we think about the
Um,
theory that people only learn in the way they want to learn, you have to have a text, you have to have a video, and you have to have an image in the image walkthrough. It's kind of the old how to boil water. Here's your text, here's your image story, and here's your video. Go. And then the reader can pick how they want to learn. And then in your press release, you've met all the reading needs, the educational needs.
Very good point. Yes. And by the way, you can upload video to your press release as well, correct?
Yes, yes. In fact, we just link it. We have you put it on YouTube, and then we use that link, and that way you get that YouTube, because that's got its own SEO capabilities
Yes.
behind it. You want the power of us and the power of YouTube.
The way the links are shared with YouTube is powerful as well. So yes. Oh, I want to talk to you more.
I have a
Maybe
feeling we
we'll
should
do a
just do our own
follow-up.
call. Yeah, why not? I think that you and I think you, it's very interesting to talk to somebody who's learning about, or not learning, but bringing me on to talk and teach other people. I think we're also going to be in the era of charlatans, and it's nice to talk to someone who's looking for the data and looking at the data. So I want to just shout that out because I don't necessarily talk to people who have used the data. God, I'm probably never going to get asked to speak again. But
No,
it's
but
true.
this is great. And yeah, and so for a small business owner, sometimes, so I guess the point that I'm going to do is typically the listeners, small business or medium businesses, sometimes the cost is what gets in the way. But at this stage, the cost is going to help you down the road, in my opinion, because as
Yes.
I said before, not everyone is doing this. Not everyone is seeing it. Not everyone is realizing how much it has changed. I,
I
I I don't
fully
know
agree.
about you.
It,
I am on ChatGPT daily, way more than
it
I am on Google at this point.
it is, you are 100% correct. If you're going to put your money anywhere, especially as a small business, the one thing that AI does is it gives you equal ground to your biggest competitor. SEO, you don't have that yet, right? Because that big competitor has been owning SEO for 112 years.
Yeah,
That's my new number.
right.
AI, you can own in one release. You can make updates in AI. AI is spectacular. And don't forget that you can even go into AI and say, how do I write this headline? Give me an optimized headline that works. And actually, if you're afraid of sharing using AI for press releases because it's not launched news, we have inside our system a bunch of AI tools like press release generators that are behind our secure wall. So if you need a
So
private
what does
place to,
that mean? So that's a great question. I said we were going to end, but we're not. So
oh, it's right.
writing with AI, because I would say probably everyone is using AI to write their content at this point. So does that harm it? Does using AI to write your press release harm it?
Not if you know what you're talking about. I mean, that's
Right.
honestly the right thing to do. Is if there's this conversation. Well, I know the right prompt. Well, that's great, but if you don't know the history and the story that you're trying to tell, your prompt is going to only be as good as you want. So I would say it's great for base content. You have to review and you have to edit it. I also like to use multiple chat GPTs. And I always ask it to rank it between 1 and 10. Rank this, give me a 10, and then I'll put it somewhere else. And so, but a lot of our clients are afraid to use chat GPT because they're afraid their news isn't public yet. They have to hide it. So ours is
Oh,
behind a secure wall. It's a private chat GPT, if
I
you
see what
will.
you're saying.
So then they get to do that. Excuse me.
Everyone wants to protect their stuff. I think ChatGPT has an enterprise program where there's a firewall there. So that's kind of what we use.
Yes.
Because we don't want it trained on our on our tactics and what we say versus and our clients. So well, that is one thing. I do you consider Grammarly AI?
Yes.
I do
But
too.
if you ask so many other people, they'll tell you no.
Yeah.
It's all AI. I have a yes. Also, so is Copilot. So it's becoming, there's a lot of, I think that more AI is being used than people will admit to.
Yeah, very good point. Yes.
Um,
I think people aren't even realizing when they do a Google search, Gemini is AI. That's a whole summary written by AI. And I think they think they're using Google, but you're using
I I
AI.
think there's a lot of missed opportunities. I mean, if you're building a brand, I would be building it all day long in ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Why would I want it to be private? I want this information to be to everybody.
Yeah.
So, oh, I get so excited.
I
All right,
know.
I'll
It's an
control
exciting time. All right. Well, Serena, thank you so much. I appreciate your time. And if anybody wants to reach out to you, I'm going to put your information in the podcast description
Perfect.
and a link and to Notified, and highly recommend you check them out. And thank you.
Thank you. Thanks so much.